Welcome back, everyone, to the G1 League LAN Finals. I am David Gods Parker, and we're here with our next live match of today. It's going to be Orange Neolution Esports up against Team Liquid, the boys from the US with a Canadian who unfortunately didn't get mentioned in the national anthems. They didn't have the Canadian national anthem, but we're going to have a best of one. We just saw Alliance take down, one of the Chinese favorites, DK. Any thoughts on that match?
That Roshan strat was just incredible. I think that's when people look at that match, that's really what they're going to mention.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. But we're going to start looking forward to our next match. We do have it coming up in the next 5-10 minutes. So we're going to just get right into introducing the two teams. It's going to be Team Orange up against Team Liquid. Liquid, it's their first big LAN tournament. So you've got to say, maybe as far as experience goes and as far as moving into this, for them it's more about getting something out of this rather than looking to prove that they're potentially one of the best teams here.
I mean, all their players, they've all attended really big LANs. TC, IX Mike, Fluff, they all attended TI 2, Boba 2, Crocs attended multiple, ESWC, or I can't remember who he ranked for in this really big thing.
Yeah, so they have got some experience as individuals, maybe not so much as a team, but we'll introduce them quickly here. We've got TC, their carry player, known for his Lone Druid, Lifesteal, and Gyrocopter. We've got their solo mid, generally their solo mid. Something unique and special about Liquid is that they actually switch up their roles between their three core players. So Korik, one of those core players. When we have Bulba, generally who plays that offlane role, known for his Clockwork especially, his Nature's Prophet, and his Tinker. Moving on, we have the two supports. We have the Mastermind, Fluff and Stuff, or Fluff, who does play the jungle role, the Chen the Enchantress, and has been picking a lot of Visage lately. We've seen Visage countless times so far. I'm sure we'll see him again throughout this tournament. And then finally, the man with the best stash in Dota. It's IX Mike, the hard support player for Team Liquid. He's going to round off the Team Liquid squad here, as we do see somewhat lacking in experience, I think, but I think it's not entirely fair. Like you said, they do have a lot of experience as individuals, maybe less so as a team, but then fairly new to the Dota 2 scene compared to some of these other big teams, especially at the G1 League LAN. You look at players like Loader with Team Alliance and Aki, you have DK, LGD, IG. These are your really experienced teams. So as far as how Team Liquid will fare, do you think they have a good shot at getting top 2, top 3 here, or would you say they're really heavy underdogs?
I think that people really underestimate the Western teams, Alliance and Liquid in general. I mean, coming into this, I know a lot of people I've talked to just said, hey, they did well in the Western scene, but they're going to get absolutely stomped when they go to G1. Unfortunately, I don't think Team Liquid's training schedule has been as rigorous as I would have hoped. They had to take days off to get their visas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we might not see them fare as well as the Alliance, but they definitely have the talent and work ethic in general to just make something happen here.
Yep, well, we're going to introduce their opponents here in this match. It is going to be the team from Malaysia, another foreigner team here in China, although they're very familiar with China, having been there on numerous occasions, attending G League, G1 League in the past. They actually were at the LAN finals for the last G1 League with a different roster. It is going to be Team Orange Neolution Esports. We've got the man himself, Mushi, or M-God as many call him, known for his Queen of Pain play. Lately been playing more of that carry role, so here's like Shadow Fiend has sort of seen a lot more play, even the Anti-Mage. He's your solo mid play. It is Ahayo who plays those sort of high snowball, very, very high momentum-based heroes, your Templar Assassin. He does pull out a Tinker every now and then, Brewmaster, Beastmaster, these kind of momentum-controlling heroes just look to control the game. Moving onwards, we have the actual former stand-in for the team, KYXY, who now fills in and plays that off-lane solo role. He plays the Darkseer a lot, often plays Mag sometimes in mid, sometimes in the off-lane, and also known for his Queen of Pain, although we probably won't be seeing him handling that. That's a hero Ohio now takes. Then we have the two support players. The Captain Extinct, one of the best Chens outside of China. He is an absolutely phenomenal support player. And well, as far as support players go, there's nothing best to round off this Orange team with than the former MUFC support player. It's going to be Net, the 5-position support player. You can see there, Bane, Rubik, and I don't think Shadow Fiend's meant to be there. I think that's meant to be a bit of a typo. It's probably meant to be Shadow Demon. Net is far from known for his Shadow Fiend. So Orange Neolution Esports, they're an all-around solid team with huge 10 for player skill there. When you've got someone like Mushi, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you've seen them here and there, I guess, Kurt. What do you expect from Orange?
I think they're a really good team. I actually don't know about 10 for player skill. I think that TC's just as good as Mushi as a hard carry. So if that's reflecting as a 10 just for Mushi, I think Liquid should be up there too.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think it goes beyond just having Mushi. I mean, it plays all 5 of their players. I think I'd say Extinct and Fluff, very similar kind of players. They both play a lot of Chen, and I feel like these two teams actually match up really well. They have similar play styles. They like to both use the junglers, the Chen, the Enchantress. They both have a similar hard carry type play. I think Orange go a bit more sort of late game focused with the Anti-Mage as well as some other hard carries, but it'll be really close and interesting to see how these two different playstyles match up. It's no longer about the West versus China. This is the West against Orange, and Orange, their playstyle is distinctively different to the Chinese teams.
Yeah.
Anyways, without much further ado, it looks like the entire 10 players are actually in the game, so we're going to get the camera off me because we've actually had one of our light bulbs just blow out. As you can see, some good shadows ruining my pretty face, but we're going to introduce our two casters for the match. It is going to be Purge and Merlini. Take it away, guys.
Hey guys, we're pretty excited for the match here. We're going to see if Liquid can perform really well in the G League Finals. Like what was said, this is their first LAN experience together, I believe, as the Liquid roster, so hopefully things go well for them.
Yep, and I'm excited to see another Western team pair off versus the Eastern team. I'm not exactly sure if it was planned out like this, but it's definitely good to see how the Western teams will match up against the Eastern teams. Again, we don't really see them play too much against each other except at the internationals. That does happen each year, but Alliance took it down the first one. What do you think about this one?
I think there might be similar chances. I would say that DK is maybe a stronger team than Orange right now, so I think Liquid does have a shot here. They haven't been as consistent as Alliance has been in the last month or two, but they have really shown some major peaks in skill at certain points in their games. So I think Alliance going into the tournament is stronger than Liquid is, but I think Liquid definitely has a shot at taking a game off of Orange, and that's all you need. You need one game and it's over.
Right.
So
I've casted a Liquid quite a few times the past couple weeks, and I haven't actually seen them do something too ridiculous. Nothing like the level 1 Roshan that we saw out of Alliance. I have seen them run Shadow Fiend and a couple other unusual heroes, but I think they're probably going to do something standard. Do you have any comments about either of these teams' playstyles, draft, lineup?
Well, we have seen Liquid been picking some interesting heroes. They've been drafting Slark. I think they were one of the first teams to be picking Slark before we saw AL draft them like every game in the Western qualifiers. So maybe we'll see Slark get picked up. It's not a hero that we see in the Chinese or the Eastern scene, so that could throw them into a loop if they get a good hero matchup like that.
Right, and actually they don't ban out bats sometimes purely because of that Slark. And looks like this game is well underway. We're actually still in the loading screen, but again, it's curious to see how the bans will play out. Just because Alliance, they got Dire Side first. They got Dire Side in the first game, and they were able to base this Roshan strat around it, actually baiting them into the next pick so that they could pick the Lone Druid to tank that and pick up with the other bear, Ursa, to take down that level 1 Roshan. So again, in this best of 1 format, it's really up to the bans and the picks and the side. I think it's up to a coin flip, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yep, and we are loaded into the game now, so let's hop into the game really quick here. Orange gets the first ban in the first round, and they've actually already taken quite a bit of time here, 15 seconds. But this first ban, like you said, they might let the Bat Rider squeeze through, so Orange could definitely be planning out their next couple steps as things, like once the first ban comes, the dominoes fall, and you have to be ready for it.
I like how Orange Net has the Domino's pizza icon as his thing. But again, the Eastern teams seems like thus far have banned out the Wisp. Last game we saw Wisp banned out like as the very first hero, so I'm curious to see whether or not Orange will let them get that ever so coveted CK Wisp.
And Liquid does end up banning the Bat Rider. It's a Lifestealer also gone from the draft. Again, Lifestealer, definitely the most popular carry right now because he does fit into a lot of different laning setups. And he is super strong. Rage is very, very good. Like you said, Wisp hasn't been banned or picked yet, so that could be squeezed in. That's a hero that Liquid actually plays quite a bit. I don't know if Orange drafts it quite as often, but I know Liquid is very experienced at the hero.
Yep, so, oh, there it is, the Wisp ban. So no Wisp for the Western team. And again, Lone Druid. And what other heroes are we looking to be banned out here?
Lone Druid, Magnus possibility. Magnus is still a little popular in the Western scene. Haven't been seeing it as much the last couple days, and it will be a Magnus ban. So they don't want to even chance the game on reverse polarities, just getting them triple stuns or something like that. It is so scary to play against that. Darkseer is going to squeeze through as well, so that could give Orange a pretty safe solo lane. But they get first pick, and they've got to make their decision right now. There's still plenty of time, though. Nobody's burned any reserve time, so no one's feeling too stressed about drafts yet.
Yep, and I think Clockwork might be an early pickup from Team Liquid. We didn't see him pick last game, but again, Boba very well known for his Clockwork in the Western scene, and we saw a couple of Darkseer Clockwork off lanes, and I mean, it worked out very, very well.
Yeah, those are great dual lanes. It's so good against Lone Druid, and that was the main way that they ended up laning. It's going to be a Shadow Demon first pick, excuse me. So this completely covers their first support hero. We all know that Shadow Demon scales really well late game because Disruption is always useful for saving allies. You can set up kills and even scales pretty decently against carries in the late game. So Gyrocopter picked up in response for this.
Yep, Gyrocopter, I think there's still Darkseer in the pool, and there's still a Lone Druid in the pool. Lone Druid, I think, usually doesn't even make it this far. He's often picked up as one of the first 3 heroes, if not the first hero, in these sort of games. I think that hero is just absolutely ridiculous, especially if you can get off to a good start like Admiral Bulldog did last game. But it looks like it will be Clockwork drafted for most likely Boba on the side of Team Liquid.
Now, do you even see Lone Druid drafted that much by Team Liquid? I'm trying to think of recent memory of games, and I feel like I never really see them play the hero that much. I don't really identify any of their players with playing Lone Druid much, with the exception of TC, so unless they play him in a hard carry role, I guess they just don't really like him in their draft very much.
Yeah, I guess it's just a different choice of playstyle.
So Clockwork is going to cover them for the off lane. We do sometimes see that hero being played as a support. It's very good against any melee carries because in the early game you can use cogs to push them away from that. But it opens up a lot of their lanes. If they really want to, they could support it. They'll most likely off-lane it with Boba. But Gyrocopter is also going to cover them towards a lot of carry things. And he's kind of the bread and butter carry that's been seeing a ton of play. I kind of wish I put this guy in my compendium, honestly. Because nobody's banning him first round. They're usually choosing Lifestealer over him. And he's made it into a ton of games that I've cast in the last couple days.
All right, and the Shadow Demon pickup from Orange, again, very flexible here. They can choose the aggressive with a Leshrac or Lena combo. They can play a little bit more defensive with Rubik and other supports, but it looks like they will pick up Lone Druid and Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain has kind of fallen off a little bit recently. Mag just completely outshines them in the majority of the game, but it looks like I like Queen of Pain here. Again, more aggression is always good.
Yeah, and before Gyrocopter gets BKB, this puts a lot of threat on him as well, because if she does end up ganking early, she can blink in, she can close the gap, and if she can burst Gyro down before he gets his spells off, or even after a second or two, it's going to really limit his carry potential. And I also like the Lone Druid pickup as well, because this gives Orange the possibility, if they want to try to lane the Lone Druid wherever the Clockwork is, because Lone Druid usually does have a last hit advantage there. If a gank comes from either side, it can be a little scary for both of those two heroes, but if Lone Druid hits 5, Clockwork has a really tough time staying in lane.
And in regards to Team Liquid's playstyle, we usually see them take control of the map and around the 10 to 20 minute mark. They are not known for 4 protect 1 strategies or very heavy carry strategies. They usually tend to win their lanes, and after that just dominate, apply pressure around the whole entire map, take down all the towers, take down Roshan, and then just control the game there. Again, their time to shine is really around the 10 to 20 minute mark. And notice that already they picked a lot of early game heroes. Gyrocopter, one of the few carries that can do just a lot of work in the early game. Clockwork can do a lot of work at level 1, especially with a Cog or a Darkseer to back it up. And it looks like they will pick up Keeper of the Light, one of the strongest heroes in the triple lane.
And we haven't been seeing Keeper of the Light as much as we have 3 months prior, for example. Team Liquid's still opting to pick him up. Most likely Fluff going to be playing the Keeper of the Light. Maybe even IX Mike, you never know. But this is going to cover their tri-lane a lot. If Orange ends up wanting to go aggressive with something, Illuminate covers you pretty heavily, especially because Shadow Demon is always setting up the team fight for 2.5 seconds. This means Keeper of the Light has all the time in the world to prepare for that initiation. So he can counter-initiate pretty decently if they decide to jump on somebody.
Yep, and most notably, there's actually a Nyx still left. I've seen Nyx kind of rise in the ranks these past couple of weeks, but neither team looking to pick him in the first phase. They have a lot of mana burn on the side of Team Liquid with the Clockwork Cogs, with the Mana Leak. I mean, they could run an Anti-Major right now if they wanted to, although it's not the best for Shadow Demon, and along with the Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin is also a very, very potent hero versus Queen of Pain with her very high intelligence.
Yeah, he really is. If he can find her early in the game at level 6, even if Quap has a couple levels on him, it's a simple combo and you can do a large percentage of her HP, throw that into team fights, and I mean, Mana Burn's always going to be good against her until she gets BKB, but even still, that's a very limited counter for what the threat that Nyx is going to have for the entire game. So I'm sure they'd love to get the Nyx Assassin. They would still have a pretty good tri-lane. I like the Gyrocopter Caudal Nyx. It's not too bad. It would require the Nyx to be able to set up the stun and prevent Shadow Demon from disrupting on whoever they jump on, but it will give them a pretty decent early game lane.
Yep, Nyx, again, not a very popular solo mid, but he has been used in the past. Again, it looks like we're missing a Korok hero for the side of Team Liquid. He's very well known for playing Storm Spirit, very well known for playing Puck, as well as Queen of Pain. We've even seen a Skywrath Mage a couple of times, so I guess it really just depends on what they want to run. I think that Skywrath Mage would do very well in their lineup right now.
Yeah, he's pretty good against Queen of Pain. What do you think about something like a Lone Druid, though? I have seen Team Liquid, I'm sorry, not Lone Druid, Brewmaster, the other Panda. He's played Brewmaster a couple times in the mid lane. He would match up okay against Queen of Pain. He would be really strong in the mid game. If you look at the team fight potential for the two teams, I think Team Liquid is currently way above them. If they could jump in, pop the Panda ulti, jump on maybe the Shadow Demon, or even Queen of Pain, she's kind of squishy. And then they could also keep the bear in the air with the Cyclone.
Yeah, I think that Pandaren Brewmaster is one of the best heroes versus Lone Druid, and he actually hasn't been picked up that much. Him and Beastmaster have kind of just fallen out of favor in terms of Mag. Mag just a better synergy with a lot of the lineups, but I mean, I think that he is heavily underrated, and he is exceptionally good in push threats as well. That Drunken Haze can pretty much disable that Lone Druid for a whole entire fight, especially with Lone Druid being such a popular pick in today's game. I'm actually surprised that Panda is not seen more often, but it looks like Team Liquid will ban out one of the easy follow-up setups with Shadow Demon, and that will be Leshrac, and also Duas as a very potent pusher in combination with Lone Druid, although they do have the Keeper Light, one of the best anti-pushers in the game.
Yeah, I do like that, the ban. Like you said, it does stop the Shadow Demon, but it would also combo really well with Lone Druid. The Bear can tank, the Edict can come forward and do a ton of tower damage, so that would be a really nice setup. Nyx Assassin banned by Orange. Again, it does counter Queen of Pain really nicely, so getting that out of there. We'll see a Luna ban now, which would have given Orange some really good early team fight. They have a ton of ranged heroes. Lone Druid will obviously be melee, but with Queen of Pain and Shadow Demon with the range bonus from the Aura, they would have been a huge threat in the mid game.
Yeah, but looks like Orange is actually Team Liquid is scared of the push and the early game potential. Again, Shadow Demon Leshrac very strong. Luna very strong at taking out towers early, and Chen can often gain you the upper hand at a 1 to 10 minute phase. So it looks like Team Liquid really wants to get off to a good start here. And again, they are a snowball type of team. If they get behind in the 15-20 minutes phase, it's just not the Team Liquid that we love and see all the time.
Yeah, well, we've got the picks coming up from Orange now. They have their mid hero, they have a possible offlane, they have a support, so they're looking for a carry and a second support. They're going to go for a Juggernaut, so it is a push lineup. This is exactly what Liquid is a little scared about. It's good they banned all the other push heroes. They had to opt for a Juggernaut instead. This might limit them in the late game. Lone Druid can scale pretty darn well if he does get do a decent job, but if he's in the off lane, this might be a little tougher for him. So for Orange to secure the late game a bit better, they might be better off going safe lane Lone Druid and an aggressive tri-lane, because then they not only match up the Druid versus the Clockwork, which is a favorable matchup, but they could possibly shut down the Gyrocopter as well.
I really like this Juggernaut pickup from Orange. Again, I don't really like him in the one role, but they already have a lot of damage dealers. They have Lone Druid and they have Queen of Pain. Both of them excel at dealing out damage throughout the fights. The Healing Ward is actually a fairly good counter against Keeper Light. Keeper Light used to be tier 1 pick, one of the top 5 heroes picked, and that Healing Ward can just continue to beat on a tower, especially with a very tanky unit such as Lone Druid Spirit Bear. I think this will fit very nicely into their lineup.
Yeah, killing the ward is always a huge deal in the team fights. The percentage that they heal is, it's like old Dota 1 hearts. It just heals a giant percentage of your HP over time, and that's going to shut down things like the Keeper of the Light Blast and even the Clockwork Rocket Harass, which usually can add up to be a lot of counter push.
Looks like we have a Korok hero in the mix, though. Puck picked up on the side of Team Liquid, most likely solo mid. So Puck versus Queen of Pain is the matchup that I will be looking for in middle. And again, I think the lineup is, or the matchup is very even, and this one's highly dependent on player skill. And without any ping issues, it will be good to see who is the best solo mid.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun to watch. It really is one of the most even matchups in 1v1 at the moment. Puck has an advantage when he hits about 6. Queen of Pain wants to last a little bit longer before she gets a kill, but it really comes down to the phase shifts. If you can dodge her dagger or one of the scream hits, it can give you a big advantage, and we'll see how the skill build goes as well. Some Pucks like to favor for more levels of silence, his second skill, because the silence is so useful against Quap. If she gets out of position, Blink will be prevented from being used for a bit and might get him a couple extra attacks in.
So this interesting last pick from Orange, we're still waiting for it, but looks like a Sand King, so it looks like Juggernaut will be the farming role in that triple lane that will comprise of Juggernaut, Sand King, and Shadow Demon. We did see a team run a support Juggernaut the other day, but that is quite atypical.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I'd seen that in a professional game, at least. If we look at Orange's tri-lane right now, Juggernaut, Sand King, Shadow Demon has some pretty good offensive potential, but I think I'm a little scared for them if they do aggressive tri-lane. How do you feel about that? Do you think Gyrocopter Coddle plus a stun would be better than that?
I definitely think so. Keep it to the light again in your safe lane. It's just really good. You can push a lane out so that you can take the pulls. If they try and contest you, you can just blast them. And the amount of damage that they provide, especially AoE with the Keep to the Light and Gyrocopter, those are only 2 heroes in the lane. I think it's just very good.
Yeah, and if they do go Burrow Strike offensive, that guy's going to eat the Illuminate no matter what. So it puts him in quite a bit of danger if they do decide to jump on a hero. And they really only have Juggernaut Spin plus Burrow Strike damage and a little Shadow Demon right click. I don't really feel like this is enough damage for an aggressive tri-lane. I mean, Juggernaut is obviously a great tri-lane hero, but I feel like they would need a second stun on top of that to really leverage all the damage with that tri-lane if they decide to go aggressive.
And it's definitely not enough lockdown. There is no Shadow Demon Leshrac plus another stun. Those like Shadow Demon Leshrac Sven, those are the ones you really need to look out for. So Team Liquid looks like they will take advantage of the fact that they don't have the strongest triple lane in the world, and will go for an Enchantress since Chen was already banned out.
So Enchantress, kind of the off jungle hero that is sometimes drafted. Fluff plays an excellent jungle Enchantress. She does scale pretty nicely for pure damage in the mid game as well, so there'll be a little bit more carry potential on top of what TC is working with, assuming that Fluff does okay this game. And they also have a lot of options for taking towers really quickly. So if it's an offlane Druid, for example, if they kill his bear, they could take that tower extremely fast with TC and the Keeper of the Light and the Enchantress. So they will be at threat for that.
Yeah, Enchantress is really the hero to watch out for the early game. I think she'll probably pick up an early level 1 smoke, and if we see Lone Druid in the offlane, I think they could potentially get first blood, especially with a smart wraparound from Enchantress. But I have actually seen Fluff just straight up just rush Scythe of Vice and not really do too much in the early game, and he just straight up rushes Sheep, especially versus a very elusive hero like Queen of Pain. I think that could be very good. But again, Fluff looks like to be the hero to watch on the side of Liquid. So introducing the North American team, TC will be playing the Gyrocopter as part of the safe lane. Bulba actually looks like a support Clockwork, and IX Mike on the Keeper of the Light. Solo mid will be none other than Korok on the Puck, and actually Fluff looks to be heading to the tri lane too. So this might just be a 5-man off to the start, and it looks like all 10 heroes will be headed to the top lane.
Yeah, I'm guessing this will be an off Clockwork. He does have a lot of regen here. He's not too concerned about a Clarity Potion, so I expect that he will be swinging to the bot lane. They're just going to go check the wards go high ground and making sure that they can cover IX Mike if things get bad. But Orange is looking for kills top. I still am not entirely sure if they're going to aggressive tri-lane off of this or not. We'll see where they place the wards. Lone Druid's got a double tango, so I'm expecting he's probably planning to be against the Clockwork again. They really want to get that matchup if they can.
Yep, and already one ward set out on the side of Liquid. I think that Orange does have a decently strong triple lane, but Clockwork would be very, very good against it. You can Cog and just pretty much just push the Juggernaut away as he's blade fearing. That Cog does go through magic immunity, and that would be very potent in that lane. But it looks like Liquid already on the defensive. They do have the ward set up though, and it looks like Orange's Bear is on this lookout.
So what do you think about Mushi starting an item build here on the Queen of Pain? He's got 2 tangos and a magic stick, so he's not going to get a fast bottle by any means. Do you think it looks like he's going all the way to the bot lane? He's expecting to be solo against somebody, possibly the Clock? It's looking like an aggressive tri-lane from Liquid. I think they're trying to dodge the orange tri-lane, I guess.
I'm actually surprised that he has gone this build. I mean, Magic Stick is good if you're in the triple lane or if you're against a Bat Rider. Sometimes against a Zeus too, but Zeus is not that popular. But Bristleback as well, but again, we don't really see any of those matchups, and him going for that early Magic Stick will prevent him from being able to Bottle Crow early, and sometimes you really do need that Bottle Crow if you want to win your matchup, especially against a triple lane like this. But I think it's a pretty smart play just because they don't really have any lockdown. They have Keeper of the Light, doesn't really have a stun, and they have Fluff, who can get 1 Centaur stun, but again, it really is luck dependent, and TC with the homing missile. That's his only source of lockdown, and he will be able to blink away to safety most of the time.
Man, this is like some crazy lane dodging going on here. This is not what we were expecting at all. Lone Druid went mid. I think he wants to match up against the Puck. Keep in mind, Puck's been pulled a lot of regen, so he gets to start with a Null Talisman, which will help him last hit here. It's a solo top Juggernaut versus a solo Clockwork. Pretty good lane for Bulba. I don't think he has to worry too much about this until there's a couple more levels in Blade Fury. And the aggressive tri-lane is now a Gyrocopter Coddle with an aggressive jungle Enchantress, and if these supports get caught in position, or especially Fluff, for example, he could have a really tough time. I'm sure they would love to take this tower really fast because it would open up the whole jungle, but it's going to